Okay guys, this is like part 2 on this solenoid for the switchable exhaust on the 2008 C6. So you'll see my part 1 video. I pulled it out, showed you how to pull it out. I already swapped out the battery on this. Forgot to mention tiny screw there. It's got a tiny battery in there. Kind of looks like a AAA but smaller. There's links down below to all this stuff. There'll be a link down below to this thing too. Now mine was working intermittently, so I just thought it was a bad connection or something, or an old solenoid. So I did some testing on this. I'm not electrically knowledgeable, but I'm kind of copying what I saw in some other videos. So I tested the continuity. There was no continuity between my two contacts. I didn't get any continuity there, so I think that's good. Then I tested the ohms, which again, I don't really know what I'm doing on that. But from the reading the guy showed on his video, he said his bad one ran up to like 300 ohms or something, and a new one ran to like 25. Now mine was reading right around 33, 34. And, you know, I'll show you, where do I got it set? Oh, I got it on voltage now, but so in the ohms department, I went down here. I stuck these guys in here. It's going to be hard to do with one hand. Let me see if I can do it. So one in here, one in there. And I started getting some readings. Well, anyway, it went up to like 34 or something like that. So it seemed really close to the number he was getting. Now, then what I did was I got my motorcycle 12-volt battery, and I did the last test, and that one worked out pretty good. The solenoid, I can't do that with one hand, but basically I got my 12-volt power. I stuck these leads in there, and they only worked one way. I can't remember which way, but you'll figure it out. And I clicked it, and the solenoid was popping nice. So, you know, these contacts were quite dirty after living down in that dusty, nasty hole for all these years. And then I pulled off this little vent clip. I pried it off. It's a little cap on the end that's like a vent. Now, there was this nice little cylindrical piece of foam in there that acted like a debris or dust filter, but that is deteriorated into mush. So I'm going to make another one. I've got extra foam laying around. Oh, here's my little motorcycle washing brush, but you can see the extra foam I got. That's my homemade job. So I'm going to put a tiny piece of foam in there again to make a little filter. And I think that's allowed to breathe so it can do its vacuum tricks. And I cleaned this little thing up. I sprayed some electrical cleaner down in the hole, and I'm debating whether to put some of this wire dryer down in there, but I actually have had good luck with WD-40, just spraying things like this. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm actually going to put a touch of WD-40 in each one of these holes and a touch down in that hole. I cleaned up these contacts with a paper towel and a little screwdriver and some contact cleaner. And then I'm going to put it back in and see if I can get more consistent operation. So that's what I'm doing just for kicks. Like I said, it pops nice with the 12-volt power, so it's sounding like it's working. So maybe I just have dirty connections, and maybe it just needs a little exercise and a little lube. Now, I've done cleaning up with electrical things on WD-40 before on a boat lift electrical motor, and that worked out really well. So I haven't really had much issue as long as you're not going crazy and you get rid of the excess and let it dry out a bit. I probably would use some of that, but I kind of like the idea of there being a little WD-40 for the lube. This one's got a film, and this one's just dries up cleaner. It's practically like rubbing alcohol in a sense. But I want the WD-40 to just sit in there and kind of work into the parts a little bit and maybe make that switch better. Okay, I'll let you guys know how it works out once I get her back together, but that's a couple of little tests. It seems as though my solenoid is still alive, and we'll go from there. Talk to you guys in a bit. Appreciate any likes and subscribes. There's links down below to everything you need. I'll actually include these pry tools too, or a set of those too, because they're really handy. Talk to you later.